Hello, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Today is a Thursday night, and here we are with yet another episode of Rainbow Professionals via LinkedIn Live. This is your host, Preeti Chaudhary, saying a very warm welcome. Namaste. Hello, good evening to one and all. Before we get our guest today into the spotlight, it is only befitting that we talk about a few other initiatives that we have lined up for you for this week and early next week. So I will start with tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday. We have a very important session planned for you, lined up for you tomorrow. It is a veteran corporate integration discussion wherein we have two Indian veterans and one veteran from the US who would be talking about the similarities, dissimilarities between the two systems. How does integration happen in India and in the US? The support system from the government, from the private sector, and so on and so forth. It is a very integral part of any career armed force person's career transition journey that we talk about integration and corporate integration out in the open forum, and as many discussions and conversations as we have, the better it is for everyone, because then we would get to know so many things, so many nuances, so many important things that we need to keep in mind to unlearn, to learn, and to relearn to make our own journey smooth. So that is tomorrow, Friday, 7 p.m. Then on Monday, which is 22nd, we are back with another episode of Veteran Spotlight. This time we have Prabal Dasgupta with us, who is an author, who is a corporate executive, who is a veteran. So we will hear his story from him under the spotlight via LinkedIn Live. On Wednesday, we have a very important day earmarked for, again, our veteran community. This time, it is a career transition webinar wherein we have military friendly hiring companies like Lowe's India, Schindler India, Wells Fargo, and a couple of other big companies that are in the pipeline available on one platform, one discussion, one conversation in terms of what are the measures they are taking to integrate the veterans into their job scenario, their systems, and what measures are they taking in terms of integrating them. So remember that date, that is Wednesday, 24th, that is at 7 p.m. So these are some of the few important stuff and things we have lined up for you. Let's get back to today again, which is a Thursday. And here we are. It is time for Rainbow Professionals with me, Preeti Chaudhary, via LinkedIn Live. And my guest today is Sandeepta Das, who is a graphic production analyst with Accenture. Let me just pull her up into the stream and then we'll get going. Hello, good evening,
Hi, good
Sandeepta. How are you?
evening, Priti. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I am very well. Thank you, Sandeepta. So, welcome to Rainbow Professionals on LinkedIn Live with me, your host, Preeti Chaudhary here.
Thank you
I would
so
take a
much.
minute. Thank you. I would like you to take a minute and please introduce yourself, and then we can get this conversation going. I'm really excited and looking forward to all the insightful stories and everything else you have, the tidbits for me and for our listeners and viewers. And before we get to your introduction, let me just remind everyone that this conversation is for you people, for you guys, you folks out there who are tuned in today. So please show us some love. Let those comments and questions keep coming in into the comment section of this LinkedIn Live, because Sandeepta will be taking questions at the end of the 40th minute mark today. So remember that, people, questions, comments, straight into the comments box. And with that, we are back to you, Sandeepta. Please tell us a little bit about yourself, introduce yourself, and then I'll get the conversation rolling. Over to you. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone, whomever is seeing us, whomever is seeing me live. And thank you so much for joining us today in the evening. So, I'm Sandeepta Das. I'm basically from Calcutta, and I work for Accenture, and I have joined the company last year, November. And right now I'm living in Bangalore. I actually I'm an artist, so I have done animation film studies. Then I have been working as a freelance artist. Then I joined this company very recently, and it's really a different experience for me being an IT company, and people are really amazing and very exciting job which I got. So yeah, and yes, so here I am, and we are just about to start with the conversation. This is just a short introduction. Yeah,
Absolutely. Thank you for that. And for people, Sandeepta is a member of LinkedIn here. So there is a profile that you can look up, and we will be sharing her profile detail into the comment section. So please get in touch if you want to reach out and have any questions, queries, comments for her later on for the deep dive. With that, I will bring you back into the conversation, Sandeepta. Tell us
yeah,
a little bit more about your childhood. Where are you from? I know you just said you're from Kolkata, which is an amazing city that I've most recently been to in March, just before all hell broke loose. But apart from that, a little bit about your family background, how many siblings, and generally, how was it growing up
yeah.
back in Kolkata? Over to you.
As I said, I'm basically from Kolkata, and so I'm a Bengali, and I actually lost my father last year, sadly. And I have a one younger brother who is 2 years younger than me, and I do have mother. They all live in Calcutta, and my childhood, like it was nice, like other people, like other humans within the society, and till I got to understand my gender or my identity, whatever you say, or maybe sexuality. So my childhood was a very I mean, both negative and positive, if I say. I mean, like I have seen both of the sides in my childhood, since I have got to know everything about me myself. So, yes, at the age of 13 and 14, I started to realize that I'm not really like others. I mean, other friends of mine. And then I took a year to to get the confirmation done by myself only. Why is this feeling coming in? And then when I was 17, I remember I told my uh, father that I really want to. I don't know. I'm having this kind of feeling, like I'm feeling like a woman. So, so yeah, that was my childhood. I mean, like from age 13 to 17, that was very different, and the whole timeline was very tough for me to find out myself. Yeah,
Right. Tell me something, Sandeepta. So you identified yourself as a
a woman. Yeah, my preferred pronouns
right.
is she,
Okay.
her, hers. Yes.
Okay, right. So tell me a little bit more about your school life. So before 13, when you were going to school, how was it going there? Were you still conflicted at that time, or was it like a normal childhood growing up, playing around, sort of, all the shararate and all the mischievous stuff that goes on in school? How was that experience going to school? What are your early memories from that time?
I don't know. I have removed most of my childhood memories because that was not really pleasant for me, and
Okay.
still, it's like it haunts me sometimes because my childhood was not that pleasant like others. And whenever I used to go to school, I still remember I have been bullying by my fellows, my classmates, and that was really difficult. That time, I didn't know like why they are bullying me, and why they are pushing me at a corner where I cannot breathe. I'm feeling like claustrophobic. So, yeah, and that was really difficult because I have been struggling with my identity. That time I didn't know about it. I didn't know anything about gender or identity or any specific spectrum within the gender and sexuality. So
Right.
then my early childhood memory, if I remember, few incidents had happened which was really unpleasant. When my teachers did not support me at in my school. So yes, few of my friends, they were really supportive, and they are still touch with me. But there are other memories which really not pleasant, of course. But and I believed myself. I'm like okay, I did have the courage. So that is why I have came across a lot. I have gone through a lot. Nowadays I'm here. So yeah, that wasn't like any other people. That was very different for me. And yeah, and yeah, that's all.
Okay. No,
Yeah,
no, just whatever you're comfortable with. Absolutely, we are with you. Um, basis your comfort level, however much you want to talk about, whatever you do not want to remember, we will
Yeah.
absolutely not compel you to remember that. So you say that, between 13 and 17 were your deciding years when you were confirming to yourself in terms of your own gender identity or sexuality, and you were sort of talking to yourself, you were having internal conversations. So when you
Yes.
were having these internal conversations, what did your outside familial sort of atmosphere conversations look like? Was there much of upheaval, or was it a smooth going? How was it back at home when you were sort of fighting with yourself, let's put it that way, for better lack of words? Over to you.
It was both actually, because there was a lot of conflicts were going on in between the reality and my imagination, because gender was in my imagination before I
Mhm,
identify and found myself the who I am nowadays. And
mhm,
so I have tried to put my imagination into the reality, but eventually
mhm,
it did not happen at the beginning because my father did not accept me who I am. And
mhm,
so it was difficult because my mother was having some confusions regarding this, and especially people are from the Bengali community. They are not
mhm,
that broad-minded, but I, I mean, I have seen my family. I have seen a lot of Bengali families. I have seen my friends' family. All are same. I'm like, there are less acceptations being when, and I don't think it's depending on any specific race or a religion or maybe society. It's all about mentality, how you accept people. And when a LGBTQ person who's struggling or with her or his gender or sexuality, and gender dysphoria is there, and family is not accepting as who they are, and that time is very difficult for them because they don't know what to do. And that exactly had happened with me. I left my home when I was 20. I still remember,
mhm,
2021. Yeah. Then my education I dropped. I was in second year, and then my
mhm,
father did not call me, and I was struggling with jobs back in here and there, and studying. I was looking for something which I really can do something for better for myself. But yeah, there were struggles, there were ups and downs. But when I came back to Kolkata, I was out of Kolkata till
mhm,
2014. Then I came back to Kolkata. Then I started to do my study again. I have finished few design studies, interior designing. I have done before. I have done my animation course, and then I have done few diploma courses as well. Then after I
mhm.
finished my study, I started to look for job. That was
Right.
challenging. That
So
was
tell
challenging.
us, yeah. So tell us about this whole journey of, from 17 to say 20. You were sort of, again, there was strife and there was sort of constant conflicts happening. Um, was there any support structure around you in terms of maybe extended family? I would maybe think not, but maybe some friends, some well wishers, some allies that you can distinctly remember and say that, thank the Lord that these people were there and I could sort of fall back onto someone? Or did you not have that kind of support, Sandeepta?
No, I have. I actually found some support, a new family in 2014. Before that, nobody stood by me because that was a
Okay.
difficult time for me. Even my family, my mother was dealing the conflicts in between the dynamic, whatever me and my father used to have between us.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really difficult for her to balance both of the sides as well. That is why I thought to maybe I should compromise this way. Maybe I should think my life in this way, the way I want to think, the way I
Sure.
want to live. That is
Mm-hmm.
that is why I made the decision to leave the house. Then
Mm-hmm.
when I came in Calcutta, back in Calcutta in 2014, I found somebody, and I found a friend, and I mean that was pretty personal because I mean, we have been in relationships together. Then his family accepted me the way I was. I have been always looking for. My real parents, they did not. They did not. So I'm really lucky. They have supported me as their best, and they still supports me. So I'm so glad and I'm so privileged. I feel so lucky to have this family in my life. And I think because there are a lot of people out there from the from like us, if I say like me, they don't have support. They don't have any psychological support. Forget about any economical or maybe any challenges. They don't have even shelter or family. What about them? So in that way, I was really, I am really lucky, and I'm really thankful to them that whomever I am nowadays, whomever I'm in a standing in a place because of them. That's all. I mean, I can't even say thanks. That's not even a place to say thanks.
I know. I mean, this is pretty amazing, actually. So yeah. I mean, I can say thank you to that family, for that, because that is when
Yeah,
you were probably at your lowest, and if they were not there, then God knows what might have, or what could have happened. So absolutely all. Now that brings me back to that brings me back to your love for design, your love for animation, and that brings me back to those
yeah,
wonderful days of when you were getting trained and you were learning all this new stuff that gave you a lot of um, flexibility in terms of creatively expressing yourself. And I can make out, by your mannerism, by your body language, that you are a very creative person. So take us through that
oh,
journey of
thank
when you were you look very creative. uh, and take us through that journey of when you were learning all this to skill yourself to have a better future. I'm sure there would be a lot of good memories associated around that time. So just take us to maybe one or two stories, anecdotes that stand out from that time of when you were upskilling yourself. Over to you.
Yeah. So when I found like that my I'm not in a quote unquote normal box or any whatever is conventional within the society. I'm pretty unconventional, and I have to be in specific box whenever, however we talk about. Please unbox people, whomever within the box. So that's a different part of the story. But I thought maybe if I want to prove myself, I have to do something in my life. I have to take the charge by myself. What can I do? So I'm not a trained artist. Okay. So before started animation, I have researched for a year what subject should I go for? Art, dance, music, or any creative, which whatever is suits me, whatever I'm interested in. So I have chosen animation because I always wanted to do sketching, painting, and stuff. Animation was just a part of it because I wanted to be somebody within the society. I needed a job. So I started to do my artwork. I started to portray my artwork. But while I was doing my animation film study, then I started my study. Then after few months, okay, so institution, they have supported me a lot as well. Within my institute, the faculties, the students, I was really concerned because when you are rejecting by the society in general, you started to have the trust issues in general.
Yes.
So that's what had happened with me as well. So that was going well, pretty smooth. That was pretty flexible. Acceptance was there. And then I thought maybe I should do something which is not really we talk about in general. So I started to portray my reality, whatever is happening with me in my regular life. So after I have been rejected by the Indian passport government based on my gender, then I started to portray my artwork, like how I have been discriminated by the officers. Then I put it on in internet. A few of my friends, they supported me. One of my journalist friends, she wrote my story, and then I got to I mean, I got my passport. So that's how I started my art. And I thought, why I should portray imagination? Why can't we do just the reality? Why can't we just talk about reality, whatever is happening? It can be negative and positive both. I do believe negativity and positivity parallelly, because today I'm positive because of my own negativity. If I haven't gone through those negativity, then I wouldn't have been this positive person today. So this is very important for me. And I do portray negativity, positivity at the same time as well. So that's how my art journey started.
So basically, no negativity without positivity, and no
Oh, yes.
positivity without negativity. They
I
are
would
two
like to
sides of the
give
same
you an
coin.
example,
Yeah,
Preeti.
please go ahead.
Uh,
Please.
yeah, so there is an example which I believe in. Lotus born in a mark,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Lotus, so mark under the water. The mark for us, it's negativity. But if we see, it is born on in a mark. So the whole flower is positivity for us, for joy, for happiness, for life. So I think if a flower can born in a mark, why can't we overcome through all our negativities and be a positive person one day?
Absolutely. Good on you. And that's a right and apt example, So, Kamal Kichad mein khilta hai, as they say in
True,
Hindi, which means a
true.
beautiful flower is born out of muck and dirt, as you rightly
Yeah,
say.
yeah.
Very good example. Thank you so much for that. So, then, you did your courses and now you're ready, stepping out into the professional field. Take us through that. What was going on then? Was it a smooth sailing? Any hurdles, obstacles, if at all? How was it like? Please share something with us, Sandeepta, right there.
I have done my design studies. I have completed my animation film study in 2018. Then right after that, I started to look for a job, but I couldn't get any based on my gender, unfortunately, because we living in a society where people, they don't accept us who we are, and
Mm-hmm.
that was really difficult for me. The time was very difficult because I'm really capable enough to take a job by myself, and I know what I am good at it. So
Mm-hmm.
I have been rejecting. Then finally, I have applied in Starbucks and in, in a few bars as bartenders if I get any job. But again, I have been discriminated by few specific companies or a few organization as well. Then one day, I still remember in 2019. Um, um, yeah, 2019, yes. No, sorry, 2018, yes. I
Mm-hmm.
was going through my Instagram and I have seen the advertisement of rice. Then I
Okay.
was like, why can't we take a chance, at least one last chance? Maybe I do have to fly to Bangalore and let's see what happens. Then
Mm-hmm.
I registered my name in rice, and I came to Bangalore. And there was no hope. Actually, there are a lot of candidates at the job fair, and I was very concerned and nervous. And there were media, people flooding. Like people are like the whole the event was like, oh my god! I'm just like, how can I get a job? Like people are so capable enough. They are really capable enough than me, and there are no chance, I guess. So I gave my resume to few companies. Accenture was one of the company. They were there as well. So so they said one of the lady, I forgot her name. I'm sorry, I forgot her name from within the organization from Accenture. She said we really don't have any vacancy right now in Bangalore, but I think we have a vacancy in Kolkata if you really would like to take the chance. And I was like, I would be really thankful and grateful if I can get any job within your organization. It's such a repute company. I would love to.
Mm-hmm.
Then I came back in Calcutta. After 3 months, I
Mm-hmm.
got a call from Accenture for interview process. Then I have done all the interview process and I got selected. And I was like,
Love.
oh my God, that was a path breaking because I really wanted to take this job as a challenge in my life because there are a lot of people who wants to be here where I am standing nowadays, and I
Sure.
think I should motivate them. This is my responsibility, and also I really want to do this for others because that's why we fight for our human rights, right? We are not fighting. I'm not fighting for me specifically. I'm fighting for us. That is why I took this challenge in my life. Like, let's see. I know this is an IT company. No matter what, I would survive. And let's motivate others as well, so they can come forward and they can take the charge by themselves as well. So that was my
Mm-hmm.
main motto. And I'm still like, I have been doing human rights. I have been fighting for. I have been part of the demise of Section 377, yeah, even the transgender bill, the newest transgender bill as well. I have gone to Delhi many times for those bills and signed the petition a lot of times. I don't know how many times. So I think, I mean, like, if we really want to support people, let's talk, let's do more. Like you guys are doing. This is doing. This is not only talking. So these kind of initiatives should happen. And Rise was the one of the initiative which I have ever seen within our country. Because why do you have to? Why do we have to take an initiative uh, to make events specifically for a community, quote unquote? Because
Mm-hmm.
there are discrimination, there are boxes, there are unconventional people who wants to be here as well in this
Yes.
position. So that is why, I mean, we have to fight. These are the initiative which we can break through the norms with, right, within the society. That is why Rise was for. I was totally so amazed because of the event. I was like, wow, this is the first great initiative thing which is happening in our country. And I'm so grateful
Yes.
I got this job through Rise.
Lovely, because here, just to put things in perspective for our watchers, viewers, and listeners,
Yeah.
Rise is an initiative of the Pride Circle based out of Bangalore. It is
Hmm.
run by two wonderful friends, Srini and Ram, as you already know.
Yeah.
Rise in Bangalore last year was the first such initiative, which was a whole day conference, a job fair, and a marketplace for the LGBTQ plus community. Because the whole thing is that more light, more conversations need to be done in this space. Not only that, tangible stuff needs to be done. So when I say
Right.
tangible, it turns into this particular job fair. So because you are a result of that, here you are, you have a job as a tangible result of that particular job fair. In that marketplace, from the society, so many sections of different people, they came in, they brought their products, services, and so on. And Sandeepta, I attended the second edition of Rise in Delhi earlier on this year, and I must say that it is absolutely a brilliant and amazing initiative.
Oh,
It
yes.
is yes, it is a multi-city, multi-location kind of a thing. So next time it will go to Bombay, Bangalore, and other places. And via this, I would like to urge everyone, out there who's listening, tuned in, please go and attend. You will be amazed for the quality of people and things that you will see around, in terms of all the merchandise, in terms of when you go talking to people, in terms of all the conferences, the side channels, the workshops. It is absolutely amazing. So yeah, I mean, I totally get what you're saying. At this point, I would also like to remind everyone to please let your comments and questions come into the comment section of this LinkedIn Live Rainbow Professionals with me, Preeti Chaudhary, with our dear guest Sandeepta Das with us. So, with that, you are in Accenture, you've already got a job. Were you in Calcutta at this time, or were you already in Bangalore? I want you to take us through your journey as a professional working in Accenture, life as in Accenture, in and around it, working with other colleagues, people, your own experiences in terms of acceptability or not accept, whatever that might have been. Please take us through those nuances a little bit. Over to you, Sandeepta.
Yeah. So I was really concerned at the beginning when I started to go to office, and that day I went to office. I still remember. I was really concerned because that is my first job in IT sector, and I have been working as freelance artist only, back and forth. And as this is my first job in my life. I mean, in IT sector. So. The team I got, the team is really supportive. My supervisor, my manager, they are like amazing people whom I have ever seen in my life. Like, few people I know in my personal life, but in my professional life, they are really amazing. And the
Mhm.
supports they do, they suppose they give me, that's unmarkable. I mean, I cannot even say thanks to them. So, yes, I was really pretty concerned before I joined the team about the team members, other colleagues. But, somewhere on the other, I have been thinking like, I have came through this journey. Today I'm here. What I'm afraid of, I should not be afraid. I mean, this is nothing. I mean, I have been discriminated based on my gender. I have been like beaten up on the road because of my gender. And this is like such a safe place where I wanted to see myself in. And today I'm here. So I don't think they will discriminate me because as I said, as I quoted earlier, you have started. I mean, I have started the trust issues in general. So that was the main concern of mine. And yeah, but a company have their own policy and terms which every employee should follow. Every employee has to follow. But I won't say there are not there are people who are not accepting, who are all accepting. Like most of the people you will find accepting, but there are people whom you find they are not accepting as who you are. But I really don't care because I have seen my struggle in my life. They did not read my previous chapters in the book, so why would I judge them? Because they are doing that unconsciously, right? So I would really try to make them educated, make them understand certain things which they are not. But if there are boundary lines which they keep, then it's beyond your, you can't help it. You can't do it.
Yeah.
I still the date I'm unable to make my mother understand like what do I wanted in my life. So this is all about human instincts. Like when somebody is not accepting you through inside, uh,
Yeah.
who you are, then you will still face the challenges in your life, and it can turn into nightmares sometime as well. But Accenture is a repute company, and it has they include LGBTQIA community as their inclusivity and diversity, and they are taking a lot of initiative. But because of the Pride Month, they have even requested me to speak over, over a virtual event as well. So that's like I have seen Accenture doing this actively, and few other companies as well. And this is a platform which they are trying to give us, and we should use it as like I'm so privileged to use this, of course, because I haven't. I mean, I haven't received any kind of welcoming in their place or their platform being who I am. So, yes, being in this company, working is really fun. It's a great experience. As I have said, negative and positive experience should be there together. And that's how we learn. So there are a lot of things which I'm learning right now within the organization, and there are a lot of people who are really supporting me as who I am. So I'm really grateful to Accenture as well. Like they have given me such a great platform to prove myself.
Right. So, when did you move from Calcutta to Bangalore? And was it like a lateral move from Accenture within Accenture itself, or how did that work out? Because initially you were taken on board in Calcutta, right? How did Bangalore
Yeah.
happen?
So there is a thing. I have been traveling to Bangalore since 2017, and
Yes.
then I started to, because of my some few art projects and few exhibitions in Bangalore. Then Bangalore really wasn't a new city for me. I wouldn't say that. And they Accenture gave me two options for two locations, one for
Okay.
Pune, one for Bangalore. And when I have chosen Bangalore, they literally, the HR said, "Why are you choosing Bangalore? Why not Pune?" And I was like, "I'm pretty familiar with the city dynamic. That is why maybe." And it was quick because I got the job in within a week. I took 3 days and I landed in Bangalore. That was really quick. Yeah.
Lovely, really nice. I mean, so tell me something. You are there, and it is an inclusive environment. Have you started any initiatives as well so that more people from the society, different members can come in and join and work Accenture more? Are you helping in making a more sort of open and inclusive environment by maybe uh, opening up employee resource groups, or are you sort of part of conversations which can change the policies and processes to make them more inclusive and diverse? Is that anything of that sort happening at Accenture,
Yeah,
Sandeepta?
I'm just trying to get involved with all of the inclusivity and diversity programs and the trainings as well. There are two people from the community,
Mm-hmm.
LGBTQ community. They joined recently, and my manager requested me to help them out, take care of their trainings, the basic ethics and
Mm-hmm.
compliances. So yes, I'm trying to, but because of this during this pandemic, I can't go to office, and that's really difficult for
Yeah.
real interaction is very important. Rather having a video call or maybe phone call, it doesn't help. No matter what I believe personally, and when you are meeting somebody personally, that gives the person a lot of encouragement and confidence to be themselves. And I think I will
Mm-hmm.
get involved more after the situation gets over as soon as possible. But yeah, because as you said, trying to change the maybe there should change of any terms or company policy based on inclusivity and diversity. I really have to know the basic first.
Mm-hmm.
Then I can only maybe try to take some basic initiative for other people so they can also move forward, come forward.
Well, that is nice because having an others who want to come and join that particular organization,
Yeah.
and since you're already there and you are living in and out day in day out in that particular environment in that office, so small little things like the environment, the people, the way where everybody is sitting, how people are addressing each other, what the leave policies are, what other compliance policies are, the legalities. It helps when you have an ally, in the workplace. So I totally believe in that, and I'm sure going forwards, once everything is back to normal, we would see a lot of stride in actually where you are at, because you will make sure that things that were not present when you joined them, I'm sure you will make sure that it doesn't happen for any new joinees that will come on board after this
Yeah.
entire thing is over. So kudos to that. Tell us a bit more. Now you are pretty much sort of independent. You're standing on your own 2 feet, making your own money, and there's a lot of joy and happiness in terms of professional and personal good balance. How is it inside you now? Are you happy? Are you calm and collected and composed, or is there still a sort of an emotional roller coaster going on inside? Where are you in your mind space right now, Sandeepta?
Honestly,
As little or as much as you want.
yeah, yeah, sure. Honestly, Preeti, the thing is, I wanted to prove myself, which I did already. And I want to do the same for us. I mean, whomever on standing on the same boat with me as well.
Mhm,
And I think, you know what, emotionally, when I see people are losing, we are losing humanity, and we are forgetting to respect individual. That's really hurtful for me. But I
mhm,
mean, like, I really want to work on that first. I mean, maybe not gender specifically, maybe not
mhm,
sexuality, maybe for
mhm,
humanity, which I have been doing since long time back, and I'm still trying to break those norms whatever we have made long time
mhm.
back. And I
Yeah.
think those norms be should break, and I would really try to break those conventional norms, because still for an example, like,
Mhm.
we talk about women empowerment. I don't
Yes.
think we really are empowered. We are still living in the society where we have been dominated by others, by other individuals. I would not quote any specific gender here, because we human dominate other individuals, which is not really good. I mean, a woman can dominate psychologically, emotionally, other women too, and that should
Mm-hmm.
break. That we should break that norm, and we should think about a society where would be no judgments and no discriminations based on
Mm-hmm.
whatever. We need to start believing humanity first. That's more important for me. And in general, I mean, again, there is a small example. I have gone to a
Yeah.
store to buy a few essentials, and there was a little
Mm-hmm.
girl who was looking for a sanitizer, hand sanitizer, and
Mm-hmm.
she picked a expensive one. But I know the store, they have the cheapest one as well. But the store
Mm-hmm.
manager, he said, no, we have only this 250 wala thing.
Mm-hmm.
That was like, I wanted to buy her that, get that thing, but by the time she left. So there is no humanity. Like in this, during this situation, whenever we are coming across people who needs our help, who needs our support, maybe it can be emotional, maybe it can be any other way, we need to do that. I think this is the high time. I hope this situation will teach us something towards the humanity, at least. I mean, this pandemic situation, at least, because mental health issue is going on. We all, most of the people, they live alone, and I know my mental health issues as well. I mean, I can be break many times without thinking. I mean, I try to keep personal and professional life very different. In whenever I'm out of my laptop, I would not think about any professional emails or any organization email or about the work tomorrow. But I think we should help each other during this time, especially, and we need each other. That's more important.
Very noble thought. I understand where you're coming from. For you, it is the basic courtesies of being a human person. Treat others as you would want to be treated, irrespective of, you know, gender, caste, color, race, creed, whatever. That is my understanding. That is my takeaway from what you have just said. At this point in time, I would like to remind the listeners, watchers, viewers once again, please let those comments and questions keep coming in into the comment section of this live. We are getting very close to the mark wherein we would be taking those live questions, and my dear friend Amit is right here to help us do that. But before that, there are a couple more questions that I have for you, Sandeepta. So
Yeah.
it is a very fulfilling journey professionally, personally, you're sorted. How often do you get back home to Calcutta, and how is the situation, domestic situation there, in terms of whether everything is okay? Your parents or extended family, are they happy to see that you are settled in life and that you are happy? What is the reception like whenever you go back home, Sandeepta?
So my family is pretty much okay. I talk my mother and I talk pretty much every day over the WhatsApp, and she keeps asking me how I am. So that's all. She's not really interested in my personal life, which is really good for me. and and yeah. So back in Kolkata, like it's really pretty okay, because the pandemic situation, because of this situation, the whole Corona thing in West Bengal, it's not really okayish. I mean, in terms of like people, and last month there had a cyclone, so
Mm-hmm.
people are suffering. Few of my friends, they are working, they are doing crowdfunding. I'm trying to connect with people, to people, whomever I know, whomever is can support them. So yeah, family, it's okay. Extended family, they don't live here. They live in abroad. They live in the States. So that's pretty, I mean, like we are very much connected with each other, again, over the WhatsApp. So
Lovely.
yeah, so it's we have the basic and regular communication with each other. So yeah, everything is fine.
Lovely, nice to hear. Something else that sort of just pop into my head is, what are your hopes and dreams? Sandeepta, you are an artist, you are a creative person. Would you want to stick in a job for a while, or do you want to do something of your own? What is that one thing that would give you real joy if you did for yourself? I mean, professionally. Yeah. So whether it is working for somebody else in a job is also fine. whether opening up something of your own. What is that one thing that you think, if I do this, then this is me, that is me done, for the rest of my life? Anything like that? Any hopes, any dreams?
Yeah. So before I get into that, I mean, I take like one day at a time. I don't know whether I would be able to see the sun tomorrow or not. That's how
Okay.
practical I am. So, so the thing is, yes, I do have a plan. I really don't want to be in IT sector for long. I do have a specific plan for my future as well. I want to open up an art cafe where I can give people job whom from the community again, from the
Mm-hmm.
community, and yeah, and I want to do a art collective with. Within the transgender community as well, because I think the imagination within the LGBTQ community, it's so great. I mean, it's beyond. It's they are so creative. They are so nice. We are so creative. I mean, I consider myself as a creative person as well. I can think beyond the art. So everything can be art for me. And uh, yeah, I mean, a stone which is lying on the street, that can be an art for me. So yeah, my main dream is I want to open an art cafe. I want to do something for people, and maybe human instincts keeps changing. So maybe one more thing which I want to do, I want to dedicate my life to those people whomever are like uh, uh, not discriminated by their children for the old age, or for any old age home, if I can dedicate my life. That's my plan.
Very
Okay.
nice, I must say, really good. So before we get into the question and answers, one quick advice for people, from the society, and one couple of quick advices or requests from the allies. How can allies help? What can we do to make life much more pleasant and smoother? And another thing is, for people from the society, from the community, what should collectively happen or not happen? Couple of them, and then I will pull in Amit for the question and answers and comments part of it. Over to you, Sandeepta.
So as I have said, we all need to support each other, and uh, as human first. Forget about gender and any sex and any race or any caste or any religion. Let's talk about humanity. Let's respect the basic as any individuals towards any individual. So I think acceptance is a very big thing, and if we don't accept certain things which is not really conventional, which is out of the box, which is not really, we did not heard while we were growing up. I think we should get to know that subject first. We should be sensitive to that person or any specific individual perspective first, then we can judge. Judgment can be again negative and positive both. And of course I would love people to judge me as if they want to. But when you are judging somebody, please try to get to know the person's struggle or her or his life first. Then maybe it would really help you to understand the better way, or you have to be sensitive to a sensible approach is very important here as well. So I yeah, so basic respect as human is very important. And whatever we don't know, we should learn first, then we can talk about it, we can have an argument about it, we can have a conversation about it. So yeah.
And as an ally, what can we do?
As an ally, I think this is a great initiative, of course, Preeti. I would really say
Thank
thank you
you.
so much to you and Amit as well, and whomever is part of the initiative. And I'm really not aware all of them names. So
That's okay.
yeah, these kind of small initiative which can break the norms as well. As an ally, I think psychological support towards a person who is from the LGBTQIA community, it's very important. Again, acceptance. If you really don't know how to approach, please ask that person, or be very sensitive, or little more sensitive to that person, how you can approach and what are the appropriate approach ways you can follow. I think allies, uh, they can do this much. Then rest of the things will follow automatically.
Very sound advice. Thank you for that. I'm going to pull in Amit at this point in time, and he would help us with what has been going on in the comment section. It has been an amazingly, crazily insightful session. I've really enjoyed it. But I will come
Thank
back
you.
and say my thanks. We'll pull in Amit now
Yeah,
into this
sure.
frame. Yeah. Hi, Amit.
Hi,
Hello.
Vedi. Hi, Sandeepta.
Hi.
All yours. All yours, Amit.
Okay, we've had good engagement coming in the comment section and in the viewership. We had Ashwini Bakshi, Samrat Ghosh, and Parvez Javed. They dropped in and conveyed their support and appreciation for the initiative and also the discussion that was going on. The interaction, as far as questions is concerned, was slightly less today. So I have a question which I would pose to Sandeepta. You never felt any anger towards the people who were not being understanding. Did you feel anger about the mindset or did you feel anger about the people? Like, how did you resolve that part?
Initially, honestly, I'm a human, so of course, I do have anger whenever I come across a person who's very rigid. First of all, I try to calm myself, and I think I put myself in their place first. Like, what can be their perspective without knowing anything about any specific thing, subject which they are really not aware of. I think we should give them the space to breathe out first. We should not put any burden to make them understand that you have to do it, you have to understand this. No, this is not the way. We should give them the breathing space so they can just get to know the thing first, the subject, the unconventional thing which is really not within the society, which we haven't learned yet. So that's how I keep calm myself, and I try to educate themselves first, them first, and I try to take basic initiative. Like, if you really want to talk to me, please do. So a few things had happened with me publicly as well. I never scream publicly. I'm very like concerned about myself. If I scream, how would I look like? So let's not scream, let's not get angry. Let's make people understand certain things which they are not aware of. So I would it can be vice versa, you know. We LGBTQIA people sometimes might not understand a person who is from the so-called heteronormative or heterosexual community. So it's both of the ways. So I think this is a mutual way, mutual respect towards each other, and should get to know each other and have that mutual bonding. Then we can get to understand each other. Then we can try to do something for each other. That should be the way.
Definitely, I think it's all about being able to converse because with the mindsets, with the biases that we have inside, the first hesitation is to have that conversation. And
Yeah.
even when we start the conversation, the thing that throws us off is what can we talk about? What's on the table? What's off the table? What do we want to sweep under the carpet? And what are the boxes that we want to take? Because the minute it becomes transactional, I think we fail. But when we go with empathy and compassion, I think that's what we have as an ally. If I could learn that for myself, that is the thing which can give us the most benefit.
I think Amit is having some sort of
Yeah.
technical difficulties there. Oh, he's back. Go on, Amit. We lost you there for a second. Amit, we lost you for a second there. You were saying something about empathy and compassion.
Yeah, sorry, bad connection over here. I think work from home is coming to a close. The Wi-Fi is not able to take it anymore. We need to get back to offices, I think.
True.
What I was saying was that the dialogues and discussion can happen with empathy and compassion. They don't have to be a transaction. We don't have to prove something. We just
Yeah.
have to understand. And that is what got me to the next question for Sandeepta. If a company were to declare themselves to be a friendly or an ally company, what is it that they should implement first? And what is it that they should watch out for? In a sense, I'm trying to ask you what should be the real things that they should do versus the declared things.
Uh, Company make their own policies and terms, as I have quoted earlier too. And since I'm really, I mean, I'm a pretty newbie in IT sector, so I'm sure there are a few guidelines which we need to follow, and I think company should, uh, I mean, company make their own policies, but do the employees really follow the policies? I have seen the discrimination with
Okay.
in my cafeteria as well. Subconsciousness, discrimination, and a very in a subtle way, very silent way. But I could only figure that out. So, what can we do about it? We cannot go to individual employees and make them understand you should not do this, you should not do that. That's impossible. So I think uh, this is company recognizing the specific people here, uh, which is very important now because we are still about to breaking the norms, and we are not able to somehow, we're just trying because it's all about depending on individual psychology and perspective as well within the society. Company, they are trying their best, and I'm really thankful to them. And few guidelines and few terms which they can think like they are making that inclusive and safer place for the specific community, which is really great. And rest, I can let's see what we can do. It's all depending on our time, on our society, and on
Sa-
the perspective and psychology as well.
Sandeepta, what jumped out to me was basically sensitization is what jumped out to me when you said, very subtly and silently you have felt discrimination. So maybe as a company, it would make you more comfortable if people are kept on being sensitized about these cultural or nuances as to how they should be molding their behaviors to make it more inclusive. I think that reiteration of that knowledge, that safe spaces, that imparting that knowledge is very important, I guess, to make people more comfortable in their work environments. I mean, that is what jumped
Yeah,
out to me.
yeah. I mean, a company, they can't, specifically, a organization can't help, can't go beyond the psychology of an individual employee, right? They can just make guidelines and the terms for specific things which they are not bound to break. And I think that's our responsibility as individuals first, that how we can do this in a better way. Company, they just make guidelines. That's not their responsibility, that's our responsibility to see. There should not be any guidelines, to my perspective, to my personal perspective, because we need to be sensitive, we need to be sensitized individually. Then maybe there should not I mean the guidelines is not mandatory for maybe in the near future. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe we are not, we won't do any specific any job fair for any specific company. Maybe we just do job fair.
Amit, over to you.
Sandeepta, it's been a revelation talking to you. The calmness and the dignity with which you were able to carry on in spite of the difficulties that life threw at you. And let's agree on one thing here, that an ally who's not vocal and an ally who's not willing to step out of the shadows to stand for the cause, well, that's an ally less and more of a wallpaper. And that's the sort of lesson that I will carry with me here, that unless we are willing to discuss, unless we are willing to accept each other as humans, we will always have issues which will create friction. And that's the aim of discussion and dialogue, to remove that friction. And the importance of mental health in this paradigm is something that I would focus on. That if people do not get the right space to talk, then they bottle up emotions, and that can have a harmful effect. And that is
True.
something that we need to watch out for as a society. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Right. Okay, so with that, I guess we are done for the evening, Sandeepta. It has been wonderful talking to you. So
Thank
thank
you
you very
so
much
much.
for that.
Thank you.
I would like to also thank Pride Circle for the curation and backend support on this initiative. This was Rainbow Professionals via LinkedIn Live with me, Preeti Chaudhary, here with our guest, Sandeepta Das, and my co host, Amit Verma. And all of us are saying to you, bye until next time.
Bye.
Take
Good
care.
night. Yeah. Thank you.
You.
Thank you.